So, good day, YouTube. Welcome to another video where we will be talking about joyful, joyful always. Hey, please ignore that mundane intro. I just wanted to give you something to laugh about. But what's so funny is really, I thought I was recording a whole 5 minutes ago, but I haven't recorded at all. So now the record button is on this time and the video is recording. I'm not gonna let it get to me though. We just gonna do it again. Right. So again, this video I'm just gonna be talking about sharing about what I got in church the previous week, right? So previously we've been talking about the fruits of the spirit, love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, and self-control, right? And number three, joy. That's what we're talking about. And what we learned immediately from the jump in the beginning, from the start of the lesson, right? Was just like love, joy is not an emotion, it is an action, it's a decision that we have to decide to do day in and day out, right? And the good thing about it is like, even if you're not in a joyful situation, you can find joy in that situation, right? Like somebody who might has cancer, like they can be the happiest person, or because even though they have the cancer, they didn't let cancer consume them, right? If that makes sense, like they may have cancer, but cancer don't got them, right? So they're still in their mind joyful, just like poor people sometimes. Like sometimes homeless people, they be the happiest people. Why? Because they ain't worry about no house, they ain't worry about no car bill, no utilities, none of that. Even though the situation might not be that good, but they ain't stressed out about all the other stuff, right? And that's the key. Like we have to be able to find joy in the itty bitty small things, in the normal situations, in the mundane, everyday single tasks that we have, because you know it's not about the grand things, right? Like something spectacular doesn't happen every single night. Like parents staying up late at night to help with the sick kids. Like you don't get a reward for that, right? But you can find joy in the situation. You know what I'm saying? You doing your day to day cooking responsibility every single day. You gonna get no reward for that. You're supposed to do it, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to let it weigh you down. You can be joyful in the midst of it, and and not only that, but joy is easily discerned by others, right? So what I mean by that is like again, it joy is an expression, right? We have to express it, just like a baby laughs or smiles, right? Even before they know how to talk, even before they know how to walk, like they're just sitting there smiling or laughing, right? That expression comes out of them and then it's expressed, and others are able to see that, right? So if you're not expressing that joy, it's what I'm saying, it's probably not in you. And I want to say I was definitely guilty for that, especially might have been like last year. But man, it just a rough season, you know what I'm saying? So mentally in my head, I'm like, I'm being joyful, but on the outside, I was not expressing that. All right, so it's something that we have to decide to, which leads into another thing, right? Joy is based on the quality of your thoughts, right? Now that's not a Bible scripture, but that is a good quote to keep in mind, right? So if your thoughts are like, everybody's out to get me, everybody hates me, everybody, is looking at me because of this, that, and the third, that's what narrative you put in your head, and that's the thoughts that you're going to create around that narrative, right? But a person who's joyful, they're going to be thinking, they're going to be transforming their mind, renewing things of God, of course, and finding things that add to add to good thoughts in their head, right? So just like a older person, a person who is of the age of a grandparent of such, they might see a kid running. They might see the grandbabies, um, you know, licking their fingers, and they might laugh at that stuff because they find joy out of that stuff, right? So that's a big key. You know what I'm saying? Joy is based on the quality of the result. So let me look my notes right quick. Um, all right, so we learned about the joy thieves, and then we learned about the keys to joy, right? So I'm just going to drop the thieves of joy, right? You probably already heard some of them, you may have not, but comparison is a thief of joy. Always comparing yourself with something. Guess what? It's always going to be. a bigger this, bigger that out there, a better this, better that, right? But I don't listen to secular music anymore. But the rapper J. Cole did say you ain't gonna be happy until you have. He said it. I haven't listened to his music in so long, but he said since you're not gonna be happy until you happy with yours. You know what I'm saying? But if you're always chasing the bigger and the better, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a vicious cycle. You know what I'm saying? That's a setup. You setting yourself up to fail, to not be joyful with what you already got. Ingratitude, counting other people's blessing more than yours. You know what I'm saying? You got to count your own blessings. Count your blessings 100 million times a day. I love being grateful. But if you're looking at somebody else's blessings over yours, looking at 100 theirs and two of yours, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be taking your joy. Unforgiveness, unforgiveness. Oh my goodness. That's a big one. If you can't forgive, you can't let go of offenses, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be taking your joy. Worry, isolation, overload, loss of perspective, all these things take your joy. And yeah, we can go into them, but man, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Just knowing those, game changer, right? So those take your joy from you. What do give you your joy? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're already in a joyful state, or maybe, you know what I'm saying, you need to know this stuff down in the future, down later line in the future to know what to stay away from and what to um, utilize from your toolbox so that way you can, you know what I'm saying, get back to that joy. But trust, right? I'm not saying just trust anybody, right? But an example that was provided was Mary, you know, Mary, God, I don't even remember how the story exactly went, but God, I believe came to an angel, told Mary that, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna have the have Jesus. I'm paraphrasing the story. I'm pretty sure I'm giving you slightly incorrect information. But before, she complained and questioned and how, who, what, when, she just said yes. She trusted in God from the jump. She didn't, you know what I'm saying? She didn't know that she was gonna have to witness her son on the cross. She didn't know that she was gonna have to, you know what I'm saying, tell her husband that. And but we're still, not raising my hand, we're still we still have not had relations, but I'm pregnant. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of stuff that she was unaware of, but from the beginning she had trust. Right. So just like, you know what I'm saying, if you're a manager, if you're a boss, you gotta have trust in your employees. If not, that's where the micromanagers come in and stuff like that. And don't nobody like that. But you know what I'm saying? If you micromanaging everything, that's taking your joy, that's taking your time, your peace, it goes on and on. Another key to joy, finding your purpose, finding your purpose. A lot of people out here running aimlessly, don't know what to do, where to go. And man, I was guilty of that so many years of my life. But now that I have my identity, I have my purpose, you know what I'm saying? I know, you know what I'm saying, who I am in Christ, man, I'm 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 on the move now. You know what I'm saying? Things are with intention now. Things are, you know what I'm saying, they have a meaning behind it now. And man, it is definitely fulfilling, you know what I'm saying, even through the barriers, the setbacks, the challenges, like, you know what I'm saying, I'm still looking down the line. So purpose number two, gratitude. Number three, gratitude, you know what I'm saying? Gotta have an attitude of gratitude. You know what I'm saying? We gotta continue to be grateful. Um, and then what it says here, but in my notes said joy grows wherever gratitude is practiced. Healthy relationships, beginning with you. You gotta have a healthy relationship with yourself, and then you know what I'm saying, um, with others, right? Um, the case in point was that blessings usually flow outward before they flow inward, right? There, I forgot how the Bible verse goes, but you know what I'm saying. But like, if you needed joy, you know what I'm saying, you're supposed to give that joy out to someone else. Like if you're going through a bad time, but you need to be lifted up in your spirit. You go lift someone else up in their spirits, you know what I'm saying? Rejoice with them. And then, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna get that in return. Like, you know what I'm saying, like a parent or a friend, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though you're giving a gift or you're giving something away to your child, to your friend for free, you know what I'm saying? But later, or it might be instantly, you know what I'm saying, you have that gratification. You know what I'm saying? That you enjoy what you were able to do for someone else. Presence, awareness of God's presence to be specifically, right? God says, um, joy lives in no, presence. Anyway, here it is. When you focus on God, everything else blurs away, everything else fades away. So that's why it's so important that, focus on God, the center, the way to life, and the truth, right? In God's presence is peace, right? So when we are focused on Him, you know what I'm saying, directing our sights, attention, our thoughts, our mind on Him, you know what I'm saying, we are able to receive that joy. And I put this quote, I said, joy lives in the present moment, not regretting the past or the future. And what's so powerful about that is, you know what I'm saying? We got to be in the now, right? The enemy, the Satan, the devil, the demons, whoever you want to say, always want to get you to think about the past. Man, such and such. You had it good back then, you know what I'm saying? But if you are focused on the past, that's where depression comes from, right? And if you're too anxious about the future, what's going to happen, what could happen, you know what I'm saying? That's about being anxious, right? And then again, it's taking you off, you know what I'm saying, off God again. God is a living God. Right now, he was in the past, he was, and is to come. You know what I'm saying? So he in the present, you know what I'm saying? I could be saying that wrong. But again, joy is found in those everyday single activities. Um, Number six, simplicity. I bet it might be six or seven, I'm not sure. But simplicity. Keep it things simple, man. Keep it things simple. Don't make stuff overcomplicated. And I feel like this video is going on for a long time. So I'm trying to wrap it up. Simplicity. Not complex, but everything simple things, and give you a few scriptures. So God understands that, every situation won't be perfect, won't be good, won't be easy. You know what I'm saying? Some situations gonna be rough, difficult, right? Jesus had to bear it all, right? But the scripture says, consider it all joy. This is my screensaver, been my screensaver for years. Consider it all joy we face various trials and challenges, because the testing of your faith produces spiritual maturity and peace. And the way my bishop said it at church, he said, do it like it's play. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it might not be good, it might not be joyful, do it like it's play. You know what I'm saying? And that's ultimately what it is, because we have to, we got to constantly change our minds. And yeah, another thing that he shared about was, I think it might have been Paul. Paul was saying, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, talked as a child, thought as a child, but when I became a man, or something like that, I put away childish things. So we too have to let it go. You know what I'm saying? Stop, no longer do something, right? That's what about immaturity is being, when you're still holding on to childish things. But you know what I'm saying? We're mature in our faith, we're mature in our thoughts. So we have to learn to let or put away childish things. You know what I'm saying? So again, just a brief overview, because I know that was a lot. I know that was a lot. But today's video is about having joy anyways, right? I gave you a few keys. To have some joy, right? I gave you a few things to stay away from that still your joy. And then I also shared about, just how we can really just go after the joy, which is again, taking that action. It's not merely emotion. It's something that we gotta work at, we gotta do, right? And we also express it, right? So, if somebody can't see it in you, it's gonna be easily seen that you're not joyful right now. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's through your body language, through your singing, your whistling, you're skipping, anything, right? But joy is an expression. People can see that. So, to just cap it off at the end, we got to continuously examine our thoughts, right? If we are joyful, we're thinking about good things. If we're not, you know what I'm saying, we'll probably think about things that are not of value to us. So that is it. Thank y'all for watching this video. I know this video been long, but thank y'all so much for just, you know what I'm saying, allowing me to re-emphasize what I'm learning, which increases my faith and then builds my memory when you teach something else to someone else. So I encourage y'all to also teach it to someone else too, or share it. And then man, it's just a privilege to be here. So y'all stay blessed by the best God always.